we are going to use a form today to do our databases. A form is a tool we use to enter information into a database easier. And a database is just a large collection of information, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But let's start with our form. So first we go to New, and then down to More, and then we get this purple Google Forms. Now, if yours does not look like mine, you will have a purple bar across the top that says Try the New Forms. Go ahead, click on it. Eventually, Google takes away the old forms anyway, right? So we might as well get used to it. And so once you're in here, let's name this one Animal Database. And then one cool thing is here's our file name. If we just click, it'll rename it for us perfectly. All right, so let's do a couple of things real fast. Couple things if you want to collect people's usernames or only submitting one at a time so they'd have to log in. If you were voting, you could do that. Allowing them to submit more than one response, we definitely need that today. Usually we don't let them edit that. Progress bar. If you have sort of a long form that you're sending out, show the progress bar because people will just quit if they don't know how long they have to go still. Alright, we're just going to leave everything as is for now. And then we have our color palette here. We can pick a different color or we could pick a picture. So don't take too long, right? Just kind of pick something that you could live with for the next couple minutes. Ooh, I don't know what that is, but I like it. Alright, so time to add some questions. Now look, there's a lot of things we can add over here to make our forms awesome, right? So we can add different titles and descriptions. So we already kind of got that. Pictures, videos, we could put like sort of it in sections. And then here are our questions. And we've got one already. So your first question is going to be, what is the name of the almost animal? And we are going to allow them to do short answer. And if you don't want a lot of holes in your data, make sure you require these things. Alright, so they're just going to type in the name. Okay, let's add another question. What type of animal is it? And we are going to have this called a drop-down question. So option 1, is it a mammal? Option 2, is it a bird? Or option 3, is it a reptile? So we'll give them 3 choices. And then, of course, require. Okay, new question. This one is going to be short answer. And the question is, how many legs does it have? Now, here's a problem we're going to run into. They could type the number 2 or they could type the word 2. The word 2 is not going to be helpful for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on data validation. So these 3 little dots right here, we're going to say data validation. So it could be a number. We could put one in for text, but we're just going to keep it as a number. And it doesn't have to be greater than anything, but we want it to be a whole number. Even like 2.5 doesn't help us, right? So we need it to be a whole number. We will require it. Then one more question. Let's ask what size is this animal? And for this, let's use a scale. So we have this linear scale. So 1 to 5. We could make it more than that, but 5 is plenty. It doesn't do us any good, though, if we don't tell them what a 1 is and what a 5 is. So we'll give them a visual. So we'll say a 1 is like a deck of cards, and then a 5 is like a table. And so they can just kind of visualize in their head. Require that. All right, we've got all of our questions ready to go. Now, in real life, you send this out to people or you embed it somewhere, but for our assignment, we're just going to fill it out. So that's where our preview comes in. Notice it opens up a brand new tab, and so here is my form. So just go ahead and enter in what I am entering in. So our first one is a dog, okay, and that is a mammal. It's got 4 legs, and we're going to give it size 4. We're thinking of like those huge dogs. All right. Oh, you're supposed to be 4. All right. So 4 mammal dog. Good. Submit. And then submit another response. We're going to do 5 animals in total. So our next one is a parrot, which is a bird. Parrots have, notice you could just increase like that, 2. And then we're going to say a parrot is also size 2. All right, new animal. This one is going to be a human. What? Yeah, we're in there. We are mammals. We have 2 legs. Some of us are pretty big, so we'll give us a 4. Okay, 2 more. This one we are going to say is a lizard, which is a reptile with 2 legs. And we're going to say like those tiny little ones that are so cute. Yeah, we'll give it a 1. 1 more. Last one is going to be an emu, which is a bird, which has 2 legs. But we're going to say it's a size 5. Some of those can be huge. And submit. So we've got all of our data entered in. All right, so this is what a brand new tab, right? So we can just close it and be done. And notice I've got 5 responses. Look how cool this is. Without even having to do a single thing, it breaks down some of our data for us so we can see some stuff already. Pretty cool. All right, what we want to do when we're done is usually turn off accepting responses in real life. Otherwise, more people will keep adding to your data. But it's us, so we don't really care. This green button right here is going to create a spreadsheet. So create a new spreadsheet, call it animal database, which is what we called this, but then it'll put responses. All right, create. Now if you have pop-up blockers, then you'll have to go back to your drive, right? And then find the form, and then you'll see, oh wait, there it is right there. My pop-ups aren't blocked, so it came right here. All right, so this is our database. Granted, it's small, but it still is going to serve this. Now, in a database, we don't call these columns, we call them fields. These are the questions we ask. These are the pieces of information we want to collect. And then each entry is called a record. So we have a dog record, a human record, right? So we've used a form to enter in data. We have our fields, and we have our records. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run some queries to search it, and then create some reports which present the query in a better fashion, makes it look nicer. All right, notice we have this gray bar going across here. This is called a frozen row. It's kind of cool. See how those stay there as we scroll? That's really helpful. Like if you have a lot of stuff you want to enter in, but you want to remember what that is that you're entering. We don't want that though. So view, freeze, no rows. Notice columns can be frozen too. All right. Now we can't change this structurally a lot because it's linked to a form. So we're not deleting column A because this isn't really helpful. We're going to hide it though. Notice as I hover over here I get this arrow. So I'm going to click, hide the column. So it's still there, but we can't see it. All right. Now we're going to use our formatting skills. So click in B1. Let's put a row above so we can put a title. Animal database. So just like in day 2 we learned how to do this. So then we black arrow highlight all the way over, we merge them, and then we're going to center, and then it needs to look like a title, right? So I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to change the font, maybe give it a nice background color. Red seems like a good one, and maybe a white font for that. All right. Our column heading's way too wordy, so we'll just shorten these. So name, and then type, legs, and size. And of course we want those to look good as well, so we'll center everything, change the font of everything. Now we're going to copy this, so like you want to do all of your fancy formatting to this one, so that when we copy it, we'll be good to go. All right, let's make our column headers stand out a little bit more. I'm going to bold them, and I'm going to give them a background color, maybe like a lighter red, so it just kind of fits our theme. You know what? I'm going to turn on a border too. So I'm going to choose this nice deep red, and I'll turn that on. Oh yeah, that is a good looking database right there. All right, ready to run some reports? Here's what we're going to do. Down here along the bottom we have this arrow. Click it, and we're going to duplicate it. We will run 2 reports on this practice one, so duplicate this one twice. So we have 2 copies of the exact same thing. Okay, this one we're leaving alone. We're done. All right, let's say someone calls us up and they say, oh, I hear you guys have this huge database of animals. Could you please send me a list of all your mammals? Okay, no problem. Highlight your data. We want the column headers, we do not want the title. And then we're going to go up to data and then filter. So that puts a little arrow next to each of these things. If this arrow is on your data, you need to turn off the filters and then re-highlight, okay? So mammals, huh? So we'll come over here, we'll click on our type. We don't want birds, we don't want reptiles, just mammals. Click OK. Now notice they're not gone, they just hide. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, right? They're still there. And let's rename this so it's no longer animal database, it's mammal report. Alright, great. And so then we could send this off. Alright, let's go to our next one. So someone called us up and they're like, we need all the two-legged animals which are pretty big. Okay, we can do that for you. We're going to highlight our data. We're going to turn on our filter. Okay, so the first thing they said is 2 legs. So let's go to our legs, and we don't want 4s, just 2, please. And then anything like 4s or 5s, I would say, would be big.
Sarah Morgan, please come to the attendance office. Sarah Morgan.
Alright, and just to be nice, let's put it in alphabetical order. So click by name, and we'll sort it A to Z. Alright, so this is large, two-legged animal report. That's a wordy title. But so very easily we've created 2 reports by filtering out, running a query, right, of our original data. So that's what you're going to do on your assignment today.